Good morning. Welcome to News for Hearing Impaired. I am Anil Thomas. With me, Sonu, this morning. First up, the headlines. Centre issues ordinance for extension of various tax compliance deadlines in the wake of coronavirus crisis. Donations to PM Care Fund to be 100% tax-free. All investments up to June 30th to be considered savings in the current financial year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a telephonic conversation with French President Emmanuel Macron. Both leaders agree that the present crisis is a turning point in modern history, which provides a new human-centric concept of globalization. About 100 people who joined a religious congregation in Delhi found corona positive. 50 of them are from Tamil Nadu. Over 1,000 persons who attended the congregation sent for quarantine in Delhi. The government files FIR against the organizers. Number of active corona positive cases in the country stand at 1,238, while the death toll goes up to 35. 123 persons have been discharged after recovery. And as countries world over grapple with the coronavirus crisis, its intensity weakens in the worst hit Italy and Spain, while intensifies in the United States of America as the death toll crosses 3,800. US President Donald Trump warns next 2 weeks are going to be very painful. And now for the stories in detail. The government on Tuesday brought in an ordinance, the Taxation and Other Laws Relaxation on Certain Provisions Ordinance 2020 relief, to give relief in compliance in filing income tax, GST, customs and central excise returns to help taxpayers tide over the coronavirus crisis. The ordinance extends the date for linking Aadhaar PAN linking date to 30th of June 2020. The date for making various investments and payments such as Mediclaim, donations, LIC, Public Provident Fund for claiming deductions has been extended to June 30th. Hence, the investment and payment can be made up to 30th of June for claiming the deduction under these sections for 2019 and 20. The last date of furnishing of the central excise returns due in March, April and May 2020 have been extended to June 30th. It also extends the date till 30th of June for passing of order or issuance of notices by the authorities under various direct tax and Benami law. Besides, the date for Vivad Se Vishwas scheme has also been extended by 3 months till June end. Further, a reduced rate of 9% interest shall be charged for non-payment of income tax, advance tax, TDS, TCS, equalization levy, security transaction tax and commodities transaction tax, which are due for payment from March 20th to June 29th this year. The ordinance also amends a provision in the Income Tax Act to allow 100% deduction on donations to the PM Cares Fund. Earlier, the limit on deduction was 10% of the gross income. The donations under PM Cares made up to 30th of June shall be eligible for deduction from the income of 2019-20. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had on March 24th announced the easing of various compliance and statutory requirements for filing tax returns as a relief to taxpayers fighting COVID-19 pandemic. The government has slashed the interest on small savings schemes by up to 1.4% effective for the first quarter of the financial year 2021. Interest rates on senior citizen deposit scheme and are also reduced from 8.6% to 7.4%. PPF will get 7.1% interest instead of 7.8% interest. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana's interest has been reduced to 7.6%. Government has maintained that it is committed to identify, isolate and quarantine COVID-19 positive Tabligh Jamaat workers in India Home Ministry released a statement on Tuesday over the Tabligh Jamaat issue, stating that on March 21st, the MHA was prompt to share details of the Tabligh Jamaat workers, which included foreign nationals in India, further stating that this information was shared after COVID-19 positive cases surfaced in Telangana.
से जैसी दिल्ली की खबर आई और तेलंगाना की खबर आई है मीडिया के द्वारा, ये चिंता बढ़ाने वाली बात है। दुनिया की तुलना में भारत में अभी इसके चलते इसके प्रसार में बहुत बड़ा नियंत्रण हुआ है। जनता महसूस कर रही है और जिम्मेवारी से लॉकडाउन का पालन कर रही है। इसमें ये जो मसला आया निजामुद्दीन का, ये बड़ा दुखद है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए।
Union Home Ministry acted swiftly on the 21st of March itself, sharing details of foreign and Indian Tabligh Jamaat workers in India with all states. The swift action was taken with a view to identify, isolate and quarantine Tabligh Jamaat workers who might be COVID-19 positive. Instructions were also issued by the MHA to Chief Secretaries and DGPs of all states, as well as the Commissioner of Police, Delhi. The advisories were reiterated by the DIB to all state DGPs on March 28th and 29th. Meanwhile, workers staying in the Markaz in Nizamuddin were also screened. So far, 1,339 Tabligh Jamaat workers have been shifted to 3 quarantine facilities as well as to government hospitals in the capital as well as AIIMS Jajjar. The rest of them are currently being medically screened for COVID-19 infections. Delhi police has lodged an FIR against Maulana Asad and others for violating the government directions. Tabligh Jamaat Markaz is located in Nizamuddin, Delhi. Devout Muslims from across the country and also from foreign countries visit the Markaz for religious purpose. Some also move out in groups to different parts of the country for Tabligh activities. On March 21st, approximately 824 foreign Tabligh Jamaat workers were in different parts of the country for missionary work. Besides, around 216 foreign nationals were staying in the Markaz. In addition, over 1,500 Indian TJ workers were also staying in the Markaz, while around 2,100 Indian TJ workers were touring different parts of the country for missionary work. The empowered group of officers, 10 constituted under the Disaster Management Act 2005 on public grievances and suggestions to ensure timely implementation of COVID-19 response activities, met on Tuesday and took the decision to identify the problem areas and delineate policy, formulate plans and strategize operations and take necessary steps for time-bound implementation of decisions. The meeting was attended by Amit Khare, Secretary HRD, Dr. Chhatrapati Shivaji, Secretary DARPG, Ashutosh Agnihotri, Joint Secretary MHA, Meera Mohanty, Director Cabinet Secretariat and senior PMO officials. As the nation enters the 7th day of lockdown, the active cases of COVID-19 reached 1,238. 123 people have been cured of the disease, while 35 have succumbed to COVID-19 infection. Ministry of Health is working in close coordination with states in tracking the contacts of the coronavirus in the country. A high-level meeting of the group of ministers on COVID-19 was chaired by Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan in New Delhi. Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of Civil Aviation Hardeep Singh Puri, Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai, Minister of State for Shipping Mansukh Mandavia, besides other ministers and officials were present at the meeting. The group of ministers reviewed the current status, action and preparedness of states, union territories for management of COVID-19. The GOM also discussed the need for each state to set up exclusive hospitals for COVID-19 patients.
मेडिकल चेकअप हेल्थ मंत्री साहब के साथ मिनिस्टर ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, सिविल एविएशन, शिपिंग, केमिकल एंड फर्टिलाइजर्स और मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर होम और मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर सभी प्रेजेंट थे, जिन्होंने देश में चलती हुई सिचुएशन का पूरा एनालिसिस किया, जायजा लिया। उन्होंने इस सिचुएशन में ये भी कहा है कि हमें स्टेट्स के साथ मिलकर ये इंश्योर करना है कि जो हमारे डेडिकेटेड कोविड हॉस्पिटल्स हैं उनको जल्दी से जल्दी और लार्ज नंबर में बनाया जाए। स्टेट्स के साथ कोऑर्डिनेट करते हुए जो हमारे माइग्रेंट पॉपुलेशन है उनके बारे में भी, अगर उनको हमने किसी टेम्परेरी शेल्टर में कहीं पर हमने उनको ऑर्गेनाइज किया है तो उनका मेडिकल चेकअप किया जाए, उनको रिक्वायर्ड साइको सोशल सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कराया जाए, और इसके साथ ही जो अगर नीड है तो नीड के हिसाब से हेल्थ प्रोफाइलिंग करते हुए उनको अगर किसी और फैसिलिटी मैनेजमेंट या होम क्वारंटाइन सजेस्ट किया जाए उसके लिए भी स्टेट के साथ हम चर्चा करके इसको ऑर्गेनाइज कराएं, उन्होंने आदेश दिए हैं।
A Science and Technology Empowered Committee for COVID-19 Response has been constituted, chaired by Professor Vinod Paul, member Niti Aayog and principal scientific advisor to the Government of India, to coordinate among science agencies, scientists, industries and regulatory bodies. The committee will work with the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Defense Research and Development Organization and the Indian Institute for Science to take speedy decisions on research and development, keeping in view the critical need to increase the testing facilities for COVID-19 disease. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday spoke to French President Emmanuel Macron. PM Modi expressed his condolences to President Macron for the loss of lives in the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The leaders discussed domestic and international aspects of the crisis and underlined the importance of global collaboration and solidarity in the present situation. They agreed that the expert teams of both countries would actively share information on measures to prevent the spread of the virus and research on treatment and vaccines. President Macron strongly recommended or strongly agreed with Prime Minister's view that the COVID-19 crisis is a turning point in modern history and offers the world an opportunity to forge a new human-centric concept of globalization. He also stressed the need to devote special attention to the needs of lesser developed countries, including those in Africa, during the present crisis. President Macron warmly welcomed Prime Minister's suggestion that the practice of yoga offers a convenient means of ensuring mental and physical well-being for people confined to their homes by the pandemic. The Vaishno Devi Shrine Board on Tuesday denied rumors that around 400 pilgrims are stranded at Vaishno Devi Temple. The board clarified that no devotee is currently stranded in Katra or in Vaishno Devi Shrine. According to the CEO of the Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, Ramesh Kumar Jangid, the pilgrimage was suspended on March 18th, days before the 21-day lockdown was imposed in the country. He said that it is clarified that no devotee is stranded in Katra or Vaishno Devi. Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs Nirmala Sitharaman participated in the second extraordinary G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting under the Saudi Arabian presidency on Tuesday to discuss the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the global economy and coordinate efforts in response to this global challenge. Finance Minister appreciated the Saudi presidency for organizing these meetings, which provide opportunity to all G20 members to not only share their individual experience but also to work in better coordination. Nirmala Sitharaman supported the proposed G20 action plan and emphasized that such an exercise would provide an opportunity for immense cross-learning and critical insights. Referring to the G20 leader statement regarding regulatory and supervisory measures, she emphasized the importance of ensuring that the financial system continues to support and quickly revive the economy. As part of India's war against COVID-19, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has launched Lifeline Udan flights for movement of medical and essential supplies across the country and beyond. The Lifeline Udan cargo includes COVID-19 related reagents, enzymes, medical equipment, testing kits, personal protective equipments or PPEs, masks, gloves and other accessories required by corona warriors across the country. The carriers involved in Lifeline Udan operations include Air India, Alliance Air, Indian Air Force and Pawan Hans. 62 Lifeline Udan flights have been operated during the 5-day period from the 26th to the 30th of March this year, transporting over 15.4 tons of essential medical supplies. 45 of the 62 flights have been operated by Air India and Alliance Air. Special focus has been on Northeast region, island territories and the hill states. A website for Lifeline Udan flights have been developed by the National Informatics Center and MOCA in record span of 3 days to enable seamless coordination between various agencies. On the international front, Air India has established a cargo air bridge between India and China. Regular cargo flights for transporting critical medical equipments and supplies between the two countries are likely to be operated by Air India from the 3rd of April 2020 onwards. The Union government has reiterated that strict action will be taken against landlords who threaten to throw out nurses, doctors or healthcare professionals. Love Agarwal, Joint Secretary, said that there is no shortage of essential commodities. More than 6 lakh migrant workers have been provided shelter.
चल रहा है, एसेंशियल सप्लाईज की स्थिति भी संतोषजनक है। जो हमें राज्य सरकारों और यूटी से जानकारी प्राप्त हुई है, उसके अनुसार लगभग स्टेट्स और यूटीज़ में लगभग 21,064 माइग्रेंट रिलीफ कैंप्स सेटअप किए गए हैं और इन रिलीफ कैंप्स में लगभग 6 लाख से अधिक, अगर मैं एग्जैक्ट फिगर कोट करूं तो 6,66,291 लोगों को शेल्टर की सुविधा दी गई है। इसके अलावा लगभग 23 लाख लोगों को भोजन की भी सुविधा प्रदान की गई है।
In Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada Municipal Corporation is making the use of technology in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Municipal Corporation is using drones to spray disinfect in wake of the COVID-19 outbreak. The drone can be used to reach every nook and crannies of a locality. Drone can be controlled by a remote, hence it doesn't put individuals at risk of infection.
In Andhra Pradesh, for containment of the COVID, that is coronavirus disease, several steps are being taken. Right from identifying the foreign returns till today, several measures have been taken. Particularly, we have a ward level volunteers system and also ward level secretariat system, through which every household is being visited by the ward volunteer, and a survey has been conducted at a preliminary stage to identify both the foreign returns and also any symptomatic cases in any of the households.
Amid the nationwide lockdown, the Railway Police Force personnel of Northern Railway's Delhi Division distributed meals free of cost to the poor and needy at New Delhi, Hazrat Nizamuddin, Delhi Safdarjung, Mandavali, Ghaziabad and Shakur Basti railway stations. According to a press statement of the Delhi Division, a total of 2,000 meals were prepared hygienically by the IRCTC staff, 150 meals by the RPF team of Delhi Division and 350 meals by NGOs. Proper social distancing is being ensured during the preparation and distribution of food. Amid the nationwide lockdown due to COVID-19, the Assam Police are spearheading this effort to ensure the provision of food for low-income groups and have distributed the food to the poor and needy in Guwahati and other parts of the city. Many people hailing from low-income groups are struggling to earn their daily bread during the 21-day nationwide lockdown. However, citizens and police personnel are coming together to support them in this time of crisis. In West Bengal, people of transgender community have come forward to help the needy in the city of Joy, Kolkata. They distributed rice, dal, potato and other essential food items among the poor and needy in their locality. They wore masks and exercised social distancing while distributing food items. More than 40,000 people have been killed in the COVID-19 pandemic as the disease battles across the globe, with the U.S. bracing for its darkest hours after its death toll surpassed China's on Tuesday. U.S. President Donald Trump warned Americans they would have a very tough 2 weeks coming in the fight against COVID-19. During a news conference at the White House, Trump urged everyone to follow federal social distancing guidelines through the end of April. He said the next 2 weeks would be very painful. More than 3,800 people have died from COVID-19 in the United States itself.
It's absolutely critical for the American people to follow the guidelines for the next 30 days. It's a matter of life and death, frankly. It's a matter of life and death. We're going to go through a very tough 2 weeks. And then hopefully, as the experts are predicting, as I think a lot of us are predicting after having studied it so hard, you're going to start seeing some real light at the end of the tunnel. But this is going to be a very painful, very, very painful 2 weeks.
Deaths shot up again across Europe on Tuesday as Spain, France and Great Britain reported their deadliest days. While there are hopeful signs that the spread of infections is slowing in hardest hit Italy and Spain, more than 800 died overnight in both countries. France joined in with a surge to 3,525 deaths, an official toll that includes only those who died in hospitals and not those who died at home or in old people's homes. The patients have sent health facilities around the world into overdrive. Field hospitals are popping up in event spaces while distressed medical staff make grim decisions about how to distribute limited protective gear, beds and life-saving respiratories. In scenes previously unimaginable in peacetime, around a dozen white tents were erected to serve as a field hospital in New York's Central Park. A 13-year-old British boy has died days after testing positive for COVID-19. The boy, who died in London on Tuesday, is believed to be Britain's youngest confirmed death in the coronavirus pandemic. A 12-year girl whose death was confirmed earlier on Tuesday in Belgium is thought to be Europe's youngest victim. Britain announced 381 deaths from COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, the highest figure in the country since the start of the pandemic, bringing the death toll to 1,789. The New York Stadium complex that hosts the annual U.S. Open tennis tournament every summer will be used as a makeshift hospital to bolster efforts to care for the patients during the coronavirus pandemic. Workers are converting an indoor training court facility on the ground into a 350-bed hospital. The Billie Jean King National Tennis Center is one of the world's largest public tennis facilities and is home to Arthur Ashe Stadium, Louis Armstrong Stadium and a number of smaller tennis courts. The U.S. Open, scheduled for late August, is still on. Former Marseille president Pape Diop died aged 68 after contracting COVID-19. Diop, who served as the president of the French club between 2005 and 2009, died in Senegal on Tuesday. It was confirmed in a statement on Twitter. Marseille wrote, Olympiacos de Marseille learned with great sadness about the death of Pape Diop. Pape will remain forever in the hearts of Marseillians as one of the greatest craftsmen in the history of the club. Diop was a Senegalese national who moved to Marseille as a teenager and had contracted the virus. He was being treated in the Senegalese capital, Dakar, where he passed away. UEFA will discuss the fate of this season's Champions League and its other competitions that have been suspended due to the coronavirus pandemic in a video conference meeting on Wednesday. All UEFA competitions have been halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic, while this year's European Championship have been pushed back to 2021. Player transfers and contracts will also be discussed at the meeting. UEFA President Alexander Kaferin said that the current season could be lost, but if it is unable to restart by the end of June, although he did not rule out extending it to next season. Well, let's track COVID-19 across the world and take a look. Navratri is a 9-day Hindu festival and today is the 8th day, known as Durga Ashtami or Maha Ashtami. On the day of Ashtami, before breaking the fast, 9 girls below the age of 10 are worshipped and are fed. DD News urges all its viewers to avoid calling Kanya girls for puja at home, to follow strict social distancing amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for watching.